Last night at Tiger Stadium, the season came to an end for the Tigers as the Elizabethtown Panthers easily defeated us by the score of 52-6. I'll be back with Coach Barnes to discuss last night's game after we pause for these messages from our sponsors.
Fredonia Valley Bank is offering two new interest-bearing checking accounts, the Valley Advantage Checking and the Valley Advantage Plus. Come by Fredonia Valley Bank and let us introduce you to these two new accounts that will draw interest monthly. Everyone can use a little extra cash these days, so why not ask about the details today or check out our website at FredoniaValleyBank.com for rates and information. Fredonia Valley Bank is your real community bank with hometown-friendly service you can count on every time. 602 Cassidy Avenue, Fredonia, and 226 Commerce Street, Edaville. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Here's a reminder from your Princeton Electric Plant Board. Meter tampering is dangerous. Tampering with an electric meter is not only dangerous, it is dishonest and against the law. Stealing electricity by tampering with an electric meter may result in your arrest and can even risk your life. Tampering with meters results in increased utility bills that everyone has to pay. If you see anyone tampering with an electric meter, call the Princeton Electric Plant Board right away at 270-365-2031. Princeton Electric Plant Board, Princeton's #1 energy source.
And welcome back. David, last night obviously not a good night for the Tigers. Those who saw it saw a really, really great performing E-Town team.
Yeah, well, this is going to be hard this morning, but we knew going in, E-Town had a good football team, but, our team, we didn't the game last night doesn't reflect the team that we got, and sometimes people say you remember for your last game. This team won't be remembered for their last game. They'll be remembered for all those other games, those 10 wins we got, and the effort we got out of those kids, and it's a great group of kids.
And again, just looking at the overall, as we get into the game, we'll do that here shortly. The one kid that we feared going into last night hurt us, and as we see here in a short minute, hurt us on the opening kickoff. But E-Town excelled in all phases of the game. Their offense was their defense was great. Their offense was great. Their special teams were in sync all night long. They just did not make any mistakes at all last night.
A lot of those kids that played last night were senior kids. They were on the same players we saw last year when we went to E-Town and played. They were a very well coached football team. Coach Brown does a great job with those kids, and their quarterback has gotten a lot better over last year and did a really good job for them. And the kid you're referring to, number 14, we knew going in, he's a good football player. And in my opinion, he's best player we played against all year long.
He certainly ran the ball well, and I think he's really got a great future at the next level, probably as a receiver, if not a running back. Quick, shifty, elusive, all the things that when you get him in the open field, you're praying that somebody can hit him from the blind side or something of that nature, because he's gonna duck and weave and bob and generally get past you.
He's a good football player. He sees the field well. He's got good speed. The only thing at the next level, he's 5'8", 165 pounds. But to me, he's going to be a great kid. The punt returner, kickoff return guy.
Then there are guys in the pros that are that size.
That's right.
And I mean, you just there's football players come in all sizes and shapes, heights, and widths, so to speak. The Tigers win the coin flip last night. Again, elect to defer to the second half, and on the opening kickoff, a nice kickoff down to the 20-yard line in the hands of number 14, Jay Becker, which we were up in the press box thinking hopefully we can get him before he gets up too much steam, but we weren't able to do that.
We were in a situation there where we didn't want to kick to 14, but I'll take the blame for all that. I mean, we should have had we should have had another plan to be able to have somebody ready to kick, and we worked all week long trying to find somebody, and going to look at, Hunter. He kicks the football. He had never kicked a ball off in a game before, and it's not his fault that what happened. You can blame it on the coverage or whatever, but it's just that's my fault. It won't happen again.
Well, and that's one of the things where, as soon as that ball got in the air, you're thinking, well, maybe we should have squibbed it, or maybe we should even gone for the early quick strike, the onside kick, or something like that. But that's hindsight, 2020, and all that.
That was our plan. That's what we wanted to. That's why we wanted to kick it. But again, you're taking a kid, and they went out there and worked on it all week long, and you're trying to get everything else, and you're worried about a daggone kicker. And again, I want to make sure people out there, it was not Hunter Van who saw that kid played his tail end off.
And as it happened, the kick went to number 14, Jay Becker, and he went right up the middle on us. Probably not hit or touched, but maybe once or twice, and gets free and takes it to the house for an 81-yard kickoff return. The extra point is added, and 12 seconds into the game, E-Town leads us 7-0. Caldwell County takes over with the ensuing kickoff, and we go 3 and out. And in that series, Joby is sacked for a 12-yard loss. E-Town, obviously at that point, making a statement defensively. We were running for our life a lot of the night last night.
Well, after that opening kickoff, I've been in this long enough to realize what's going on, and our whole sideline was deflated after that happened. And you got to bounce back off that. And then we come out on offense, and we get 3 and out. We get sacked for a 12-yard loss. We had a tough time blocking their 2 defensive ends. And it's really not the way you wanted the game to start. But it is what it is, and hopefully the kids that we got coming back will learn from that experience, and we'll get better.
And a bright spot, after we punt the ball, the Tigers hold E-Town on a 3 and out, forcing a punt, and I was feeling really good at that time that we could stop them and maybe regain some of our breath, if you will, maybe a little momentum. So E-Town punts. For our next drive, the Tigers take over at the E-Town 21-yard line. On first down, Joby is sacked again for an 8-yard loss, and the next play he is picked off by the safety, the receiver, number 24, Jay Gregory, and steps in from 13 yards out to the end zone for a pick six, and extra points added, and we're down 14-0, just barely a minute and a half into the game.
Yeah, things weren't going good.
to say the least. We get the next kickoff, can't move on our next series, and we punt with E-Town taking over at their 49-yard line, and in 5 plays, all on the ground, they get into the end zone on a 15-yard run. Extra points added, E-Town 21, Caldwell nothing. But the next series for Caldwell is one of our bright spots of the first half. We take the ensuing kickoff and have our only sustained drive of the first half. We march from our 14-yard line to the E-Town 39-yard line before turning it over on downs. And in this particular series drive, Jameer runs 7 times, picking up 25 yards, and there's one pass completion to Gabe East of 7 yards. Personal foul penalty on E-Town helps us get to the E-Town 39. So we showed symptoms, obviously, that we could move the ball on that particular drive, David, and our running game looked to be not explosive, but sustainable.
Yeah, that series, we did. Jameer did a good job running the football. We were getting some first downs, and got the completion. And I thought right then, if we can get this thing in the end zone here, we can get back in it and claw our way back. But that did not happen, and but. Again, their 2 defensive ends gave us fits last night, number 8 and number 18.
Well, we knew when a couple of those guys were in there rushing, all I could think of was number 3 and 57 had come back and put on different jersey numbers, because those 2 kids the year before gave us fits from basically the same position.
And these two are not as big as those 2 kids, but they're somewhat faster, and probably on film it didn't show how as fast as they were, but. We just didn't do a good job staying in front of them.
We turn the ball over at the E-Town 39-yard line, and they promptly in 6 plays, five of those plays being runs and 1 for a pass completion. They marched 61 yards, scoring on a 1-yard run by the quarterback, add the extra point, and E-Town 28, Caldwell nothing at this point. We get the kickoff and can't mount anything on our next possession. E-Town takes over. We go for it on 4th down, do not make it. E-Town takes possession at the Tiger 30-yard line, again in 6 plays, all on the ground. They score, and then, as we've done a couple times this year, opt for the 2-point conversion to get the running clock. They were successful, and at this point, they lead 36-0 with a running clock. We get a nice kickoff return by Trail on the next kickoff. Thought for a second or two he might break that thing. He got through a lot of their traffic, but just couldn't bounce it outside enough to get down the sideline.
Yeah, we set that up pretty good. We got got a lane in there. He stuck it up in there, and I think if he could have beat one more guy, we might have got that thing in the end zone. But it was a great return and set us up. Hoping maybe get on the board there.
We returned the kickoff back to the E-Town 37-yard line, but as we've seen earlier in the first half, we go 3 and out, have to punt. E-Town takes the punt, moves into possession, and at the end of the first half, E-Town kicks a 42-yard field goal to go up at the end of the first half, 39-0 over the Tigers. We're going to pause right here for a break and hear some messages from our sponsors and be back, discuss the second half after these messages.
It's that time of year when you'd like to have a little more light around your home, farm, or business so you can do more things outside. And light for security. A tip from Penny Rile Electric. Make those lights LEDs. LED bulbs last much longer, cost much less to operate. Penny Rile Electric members can enjoy the safety, convenience, and peace of mind with security lights wherever you need them. For more information, call your friends at Penny Rile Electric. Penny Rile Electric, your touchstone energy cooperative.
You can always expect great things at Planters Bank. When we say expect great things, what we're really saying is Planters Bank is here to provide the financial services you need. Planters Bank believes in the strength of our community and is a full-service financial institution. Our employees have a true passion for helping our neighbors, and it shows. See Jake Pepper and the rest of the Planters Bank staff at 208 North Jefferson. Planters Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Fortner Gas Company is a full-service local and family-owned propane company offering services in Princeton, Cadiz, Madisonville, and Murray. Right now, Fortner Gas is offering specials on propane. Fortner Gas offers Holland and Napoleon grills, Dixie choppers, and they also have Red Max weed eaters. Contact Fortner Gas Company today for all of your residential, commercial, and agriculture propane needs. Fortner Gas Company, a family tradition of service since 1951.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here with another important holiday message from KFC. This year, don't waste your holiday vacation cooking dinner. Instead, waste it watching TV or catching up on sleep. And let me prepare a home-style meal for the family with a KFC $20 fill-up. That's 8 pieces of delicious original recipe chicken, 2 large mashed potatoes and gravy, a large coleslaw, and 4 biscuits. Just $20. All right, get along now. That TV isn't going to watch itself. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Available for a limited time only. Pricing and participation may vary. Tax extra.
And welcome back to the Quarterback Show. We're now here at halftime of last night's game, and for all intents and purposes, the Tigers can't win the game. David, what was your message to the players at halftime, and what could you do to keep them from actually laying down, which I knew this team would not do that?
My biggest concern was, one, making sure that they understood that, we got a lot of character. And, sometimes when the game gets out of hand out there, kids sometimes lose their composure and they do things that aren't good. And I want to make sure that did not happen. I also promised them that the kicking situation would never happen again, that would be taken care of, that we wouldn't be put in a position like that ever again. And I wanted to make sure, whether we could come back or not. Chances of that, probably no with a running clock, but go out there with a lot of pride, play hard as long as you're in the game, do the right thing, and try to make plays and keep your mouth shut. You know, there's nothing going to come out of running your mouth or throwing a punch or something like that out of frustration. And our kids did a good job with that. I was really proud of that.
And rightfully so, because there were no personal foul penalties, and as you say, those could easily get out of hand, and the mouthing start and the flags start popping out of the pockets, and we win with class, we lose with class.
And they did that, and I was really proud of the way they reacted. They still played hard, and they were still giving us effort. And the good thing was we didn't have any of those stupid penalties.
And we know that obviously it's a big mountain in front of us as we come out to start the third quarter, and we receive the kickoff in the third quarter. One thing that a running clock does for you or against you is that you don't have too many possessions in the second half. The Tigers having 3 possessions in the second half, and we don't get much done on the first possession, but on the second possession, we march 80 yards to score. Big play on that drive was a 41-yard pass from Joby to Travion Samuel.
Yeah, that was good.
And that play set up beautifully. Travion looked the ball in. I thought, don't drop it. He caught it, maneuvered his way upfield, took 2 or 3 E-Town kids to the dirt, and would not go down.
Travion's a freshman for us. That he's been there all year long. He doesn't miss practice. He works hard. He's going to have a good career for us, and I was glad to see that happen for him. And he gets a big play in that varsity game, and get him pumped up for next year.
Well, exactly, and with not only Travion coming back, but Seth Slayton, another freshman who runs the ball hard, and we'll have Jameer back for his senior season. So we should be able to be real strong on the ground next year. And both Travion and Seth have an above average amount of speed for their size. They're both heavy kids and deliver a hit for you. And then Jameer can only get stronger and faster. I would hope he would get faster, put on 10 pounds. But he was running well the last 4 or 5 games of the season. So, but anyway, we get it to also on this drive, Cameron Traylor comes in and has 3 pass receptions for 20 yards. Real tough catches on all those. Dylan Gray with 4 runs of 19 yards, and his last run from the 4-yard line to the end zone gets us on the scoreboard, and there's no quitting that youngster.
No, he's not going to quit. He's going as hard as he could, and he wanted that touchdown, and he was deserving of getting it, and Dylan had a great career for us.
And playing both ways, sturdy linebacker. We'll look at the stats here shortly, but good night defensively for him as well. E-Town, on their first 2 drives of the second half, they're able to punch it into the end zone, and they end up going up and winning by the final score of 52-6. Our last possession, we take over and get to the E-Town 13-yard line and turn it over on downs. But on that particular drive, Russ Bashir had 2 runs of covering 19 yards. One of those a 16-yard run, and again, he's not shying away from contact. When he tucked that ball, instead of heading to the sidelines, he headed up the gut, and you got to pat that kid on the back as well.
He's a competitor.
Dylan on this particular drive had 5 more carries, and I'm sure that he wanted the ball every play that was called. He wanted to run it. So
yes, he did.
Again, like we say, there's no quit in that kid. He has those 5 carries for 17 yards, and Seth had his only run of the night for 6 yards. As we mentioned, a strong kid with above average speed, and both Travion and Seth are freshmen. I'm sure they'll be in the weight room this year. I don't believe neither of them will play any other sport.
Seth wrestles.
Travion
plays basketball.
Well, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that. But anyway, wrestling will only get Seth, I would think,
good.
Quicker and stronger, and as Dylan has shown you can wrestle and be a heck of a football player.
Yeah.
So again, the final score last night, 52-6. E-Town winning. One of these days, we're going to, as Bum Phillips used to say, we're going to knock that door down.
Yeah, you're right.
David. And I wouldn't mind making the trip back to E-Town next year, to be bluntly about everything. But
I love that.
Yes, highly successful year for the Tigers. You never can overlook a 10-win season. 6th straight year in the regional final. A great group of 10 senior players, and we'll name them here shortly. A lot of skill players returning. The offensive line returning with another year under their belt. I'm sure they will remember what happened to them last night against a pretty strong E-Town defense, and work to get better and stronger and more apt to do what they need to do as old linemen. And what do we do in the wintertime here, David, with these kids if they're not playing any other sports?
First of all, we encourage those kids to play another sport, whether it be basketball, wrestle, baseball, whatever it be, because you only got 4 years of high school, and the more sports you play, the more rounded athlete you are. And anybody that comes in here and recruits our kids, the first question they'll ask me is, do they play another sport? And so number one, we want them to do that if that's what they want to do. If they're not going to do that, they need to get in the weight room. The whole key to our success in the wintertime is the weight room and what we do during the winter. Some kids will buy into that and they'll get in there and they'll work hard. But if you look at the programs that are very successful, that year in, year out, they're winning a lot of games, like Mayfield, Boyle County, Danville, those teams. Those kids are in the weight room getting better every day.
And that's what it takes. I mean, you just can't pack your gear up and go out when preseason practice opens next summer and expect to have gotten better, I would think.
And I'm telling you, the difference maker is that weight room. And, we got as good a weight room as anybody around here. And so we'll get back on that in January. We'll give them off until after the first year, and then we'll come back and get back after it.
And I want to go over the list of seniors who have led this team competently throughout their years on the team. Number 24, Dylan Gray. We've talked about him this morning. 32, Hunter Van Hoosier, who leaves his mark as the all-time leading tackler in Caldwell County football history. An outstanding football player.
Well, we've had the opportunity to coach Drake. He had a great 4 years for us. And, Drake had the opportunity to play in that state championship game. And you got Hunter. Hunter graduates, and then we got Tate's on. Tate's a freshman and coming up and going to be a good football player for us. So, the Van Hoosiers have supplied us with a lot of excitement and some good players.
Well, and once one person has success, it kind of makes the younger players want to emulate them, and Hunter has left his mark for sure. Number 35, Will Bashir, who real solid all year at linebacker.
That kid never always says a word, but he comes to work every day, and he does things on the field that you think, well, he can't do that, but he's a competitor and loves the game of football, and just another kid that over the 4 years you got really close to and hate to see go.
And number 40, Boyce Nichols, who was emerged this year as an outstanding kicker for the team and punter, and we just didn't have his services last night. Whether that's makes a factor or not, probably not, but he helped us this year immensely.
He hits field goal in the Tillman game that puts us up to win that game to move us into the chance to win a district championship, which we did, and did a really good job for us.
And also his field goal wins the Hopkinsville game for us as well. So he was a weapon that we will miss. Number 48, Mac Engelbright. Mac, a good serviceable player on returns, backup duty at linebacker, and a kid that loves the football game.
Well, the thing about Mac, and unless you're around it and around him, Mac started for us. And then this year, Caleb Burton moved in here from Tree County, and Max playing time went, didn't get as much as what he had last year, but the kid never complained. Came to practice, worked hard, did what we asked him to do, and he was one of the 5 seniors that stayed around there till 12 o'clock last night.
Well, and these kids that you're talking about, we don't have to worry about them in life for sure. Number 54, Nick O'Brien, and some of these kids that knew they weren't getting a lot of playing time, but were part of the team and were eager to come to practice.
Nick got in there last night, and I think he probably got 15 or 20 plays in, which that was good. That kid, this was his first year playing football, and he came up to me and said, "I really appreciate the chance to be able to play," and so I'm glad that happened for him last night.
And then another young man out for his first year in football, number 67, Austin Hondrick, who helped us in the middle of the season when we had people out in the middle of our defensive line, especially against Union County, where he had 4, 5, 6 tackles in that game.
Yeah, but he didn't show up last night, so I don't know where he was.
Maybe he thought it was. Maybe he thought the game was tonight.
Maybe.
Number 70, Adam Goodacre, and we've talked about Adam several times on this show. That you can't have a better team player than Adam.
Adam Goodacre is one of those kids that he's going to be there. He never missed practice. He never missed a weight room assignment. He was always there, and he's a total team guy. He wants to win, and he didn't get a lot of playing time, but I can tell you this: he loves being a part of that football team. And whether you look at the guys that played a lot or not, he's a big part of our football team.
Just having been a part of the team is just going to do wonders for him, and as he goes through life, he'll have this memory forever. And number 72, Cole Baker, who was just a beast at times this year on the line.
Cole, he had a good career for us. He's as good a defense. He reminds you of Cole Webster when we had Cole. Kind of played the same way. He had a great career for us. And the thing with Cole is that he got better and better each and every year, and just proud of his efforts and what he gave to us. And I'd like to see him try to go on and play somewhere else.
He certainly, I think, has the credentials to make somebody happy, I would think, with his work ethic and that. And then the final senior 80, number 80, Cameron Traylor, pretty tough catches last night, some tough catches throughout the season, a hard-working kid.
Yeah, another kid that didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but he came to practice, he worked hard, and he made some catches for us last night. And, he got a touchdown, I think, in the Union County game, which, I think it was his first touchdown of his career.
And a good, again, you love these kids that want to come out and be a part of a team and not only be part of it but contribute. All these seniors did that. We're going to pause now, and we're going to be back with the final segment after these messages from our sponsors.
Hello, this is Gloria Smith with the Law Office of Jeff Russo. Are you buying or selling real estate? Are you planning on refinancing your existing home loan? If so, you should be aware that you have your choice in which attorney provides the legal services associated with such transactions. Our law office has over 50 years of experience in real estate law. We pride ourselves on being cost-effective and having a quick turnaround time. If you're in need of such services, call us today at 365-2763 or find us on the web at www.jeffrussolaw.com. We are located in downtown Princeton on the east side of the courthouse.
This is an advertisement.
At Morgan's Funeral Home, we're family owned and managed by people who care more about you.
What separates us from the rest is how much our people care.
During your most difficult hours, you deserve the most understanding and caring service available. That is what you get at Morgan's Funeral Home. That's what separates us from the rest. Morgan's Funeral Home, serving families for over 100 years.
And welcome back to the final segment of the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. And let's look at the stats last night from the ball game. In the rushing department, Dylan Gray with 10 carries in his final game, totaling 35 yards. Jameer Riley, 11 carries for 28 yards. Russ Bashir, 2 carries for 19 yards. Seth Slayton, 1 carry for 6 yards. And Joby, running for his life on several occasions, tackled 4 times for losses, totaling 34 yards. The Tigers netting 28 carries, 54 yards on those 28 carries. In the pass receiving department, Cameron Traylor, 4 catches for 33 yards. Oliver, 2 catches for 7 yards. Gabe East, 2 catches for 2 yards. Travion Samuel, his big catch for 41 yards. And Trace Olin, a catch for a -1 yards. 10 receptions last night for 82 yards. Joby, 9 out of 17, 1 interception for a total of 83 yards. And Russ, 1 out of 2, no interceptions for a -1 yard. The total offense for the Tigers last night, 136 yards. For E-Town, they pick up 286 yards on the ground on 36 rushing attempts. They have 3 pass receptions for 37 yards. Their quarterbacks go 3 out of 5, no interceptions, and they have 323 yards total offense. They also win the turnover game last night. One of our turnovers going back all the way for a touchdown. Tackles for the Tigers last night. Hunter keeps adding to his total with 10 tackles. Dillon with 7. Trail Riley with 6. Will Bashir with 4. Cole Baker with 4. Mitchell Harrelson with 4. Gabe East with 3. Max Ashley with 2. Caleb Burden with 2. 1 each for Russ Bashir, Devin Kilgore, Jameer Riley, Cameron Baker, Ben Holt, Noah McGowan, and Tate Van Hoosier. Again, we got a lot of kids coming back next year that we ought to be as good next year as we were this year, David.
You know, offensively, we got everybody back. Or juniors or sophomores, and we got some good freshman kids coming in there, or skill kids. Defensively, we lose Dillon, we lose Mack, we lose Will Bashir, we lose Cole Baker,
and lose Hunter.
And Hunter, those are big time players over on the defensive side. But we return all our secondary guys, so we work hard this winter. We should be good coming back.
And also you don't know who played this year as a freshman that didn't contribute much will emerge in their sophomore year, where we can count on. That's the beauty of 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. They can change in 2 years from something not very big and strong to something big and strong.
We got another 8th grade class coming in, and there may be a couple of those kids that could help us out next year as well. So things look good for us next year.
And right, I mean, the cupboard, even though we lose 3 or 4 great, outstanding defensive players, the cupboard is not bare. I would like to take this time to thank our sponsors this year who make this show possible, and to our listeners who tune us in. I would also like to thank the football team for a job well done, and a big thank you to the coaching staff and the school staff at the school for leading and guiding these young men. We saw their efforts on the football field this year, and that just doesn't happen by accident. And finally, a big, huge thanks to the parents for encouraging their children to get involved, to play team sports, to aim for goals, and also for teaching them, if you get knocked down, to get back up and go on your way. David, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just a couple of things. One, we had some people fed us the last 3 weeks, and want to make sure we caught, Mr. Bob Hayes, one of them, and we appreciate everything you do for our football team. And Majestic House fed us twice. Mr. and Miss Angelinas do a super job with that, and we appreciate that. Bashir Sawmill, First Southern Bank, Dynamite, Mike and Mary Deering fed us at Poly Eyes, and that's just something our kids really appreciate, and we thank them for that very much. You look back on this season, we started out, we had 5 offensive linemen that never had played, and had the quarterback situation happen, and things were said about our offensive line that were kind of negative out, that we're not going to play because they don't have an offensive line, and our offensive line is not very good. So those kids had to hear that, and they came out and they practiced hard every day. They got better. We're still not where we need to be, but we'll get better. I'm so proud of Joby Jaggers. You know, Joby come in and, you know, the circumstances he had a great career. I had a great first year at quarterback. He's coming back. He'll only get better. And Oliver Parker comes up to me last night after the game and says, Coach, I appreciate what you've done for us. I appreciate you giving me the chance to play. Oliver Parker will be back next year, and he'll have a great year. So we got, you know, the thing that I want to make sure people out there understand, we got good kids. This football team is a team that you really enjoyed going to work with. You know, they were there, they worked hard, and great kids, great to be around, and you know, I thank them for that. And you know, it didn't end up the way we wanted to. You know, we wanted to get on the state championship game, but you know, that's the way life is, and hopefully they'll learn something from last night that'll help them as they go on in life. But the biggest thing, I want those kids to understand they're a great group of kids, and we really enjoyed what they did for us and proud of them.
And I'd like to also add my thoughts. Sometimes I think maybe we tout one kid way too much, but just the pressure Joby was under this year was immense, and I thought he handled it extremely well. And I know our offensive line was new coming in. They did improve, get better, but they have a really good chance to even make a further statement by what they'll get done in the off season and preparation for next year's. And a big thank you to you, David, for leading these guys and being out there with them and just working with them.
Well, you know, we got, since I came here in 2006, we had very little turnover in our staff. You know, everybody, you know, has been with us. Coach Stallings, Coach McClung, Coach Mack, Coach Riley, and you know, we added Jake Pepper a couple years ago to our staff, which played for us. And then, you know, getting Will here this year is a big, tremendous help for us. And you know, we got a good coaching staff. They work hard, and you know, a lot of people out there think, well, you just show up on Friday night and play, and there's a little bit more to it than that. And you know, I appreciate those guys.
Well, those coaches that you just mentioned, I could play for any one of those guys. They're just good, solid people, and really communicate well to the young people, and that's a blessing in itself that they can work with young people and be on the same page with them.
And then you got Brad Harrelson. You know, he coaches our middle school. He's there every Friday night helping us out, and you know, and we got Earl Hammond that's been with us for 13 years, and you know, he said some really good things to our players last night out there at the end, and you know, he loves Caldwell County football, and just a good kid to have around.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I look forward to being around Earl anytime I can be around him, because I never know what to expect, and that's the beauty of Earl. That's going to do it for one more.
I'd like to thank, you know, Coach Gates and Coach you know, DT on the program that they do on Friday. They do a super job with that, and you know, without our radio station, you know, that wouldn't happen. So we want to thank the McAnays for giving us this opportunity. And then, you know, Todd and Ty do what they do on Thursday, and that's just added more to it. And then our show on Saturday morning, and then, you know, without the radio station, that doesn't happen. And then, you know, we got Todd Griffin with the newspaper that's come on with Ty to do that program. And, you know, there's not anybody like Todd in the newspaper, so we're very fortunate to have them.
It is a great community to be in, especially when you know that the football is tradition here. Not that any other sport is overlooked, but there is something when you put that jersey on, whether it's basketball, baseball, or football, with the word Caldwell County on it.
That's a lot to be said. You know, there's a lot of pride in that, and you know, if you haven't ever listened to DT and Pat, then you need to tune in and hear that, because there's a lot of good stuff that comes out of that program.
And that's something that is very unscripted. You never know what's happening from one statement to the next, which makes that show just highly entertaining. Now, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. It's certainly been fun for us, for me this year. What a ride we've had here in 2017. One other thing, David.
We got the thing Tuesday night, basketball. So if you get a chance to come out to that, support that. You know, all the teams will be playing on Tuesday night, and like I see, Tiger Madness. So if you could get out for that, basketball season's right around the corner, and you know, we look forward to that.
You're right, Coach. Football season is ended. Basketball season is just about to get underway, and obviously the radio will be around for that. And following basketball season, baseball season was just around the corner. And for head coach David Barnes, Ty Englebright, this is Bob Hayes signing off. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll be back next year with the football show.
This is Carol at the Woodall Agency at 110 West Washington Street in the heart of downtown Princeton. Our agency is proud to have been a part of this community since 1907. We want you to come by and see us soon. We may be able to save you some money on your home, auto, motorcycle, or mobile home insurance. We offer discounts for good students, multi-policy, safe drivers, and many more. We appreciate our loyal customers, and we will work hard to make you feel like part of the Woodall Agency family. Call me today at 365-5541.
Playing all your favorites, there's not a bad one in the bunch.